President Donald Trump is expected to take control of the U.S. Postal Service. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, February 21st. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Our first story today is an exclusive from the Post. Trump is preparing to dissolve the leadership of the U.S. Postal Service and absorb the independent mail agency into his administration. An executive order to take control of USPS is expected to be signed in the coming days. It would become part of the Commerce Department. That could throw the 250-year-old mail provider and trillions of dollars of transactions into turmoil. And experts say it would probably violate federal law. The move comes as new polling shows that Trump's approval ratings are declining. Americans seem to be quite concerned by how far the president is going, and most of his signature policies and initiatives appear to be quite unpopular. Meanwhile, yesterday Trump again raised the idea of running for an unconstitutional third term. He was speaking at a Black History Month event at the White House while his supporters cheered him on.
Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there.
In recent days, Trump has referred to himself as a king and appeared to suggest that he was immune from following laws. Kash Patel was confirmed as director of the FBI. That's number 2. Patel is a former Trump aide, federal prosecutor, and assistant public defender. His nomination had caused alarm among many national security veterans. They said Patel lacked the temperament and experience needed for such a pivotal and powerful law enforcement role. Democratic senators also expressed deep concerns. They pointed to Patel's history of inflammatory rhetoric and his calls for retribution against perceived enemies. Here's what Dick Durbin, a Democratic senator from Illinois, said on the Senate floor yesterday.
Mr. Patel claims he respects law enforcement, but his words and actions just demonstrate his disdain for the FBI. He has said on day one he plans to, quote, shut down the FBI headquarters, and he's falsely claimed that the FBI, quote, was planning the January 6th event for a year beforehand. There is no truth to that statement, Mr. President. And he is casting aspersions on the FBI that are undeserved.
The Senate voted to confirm Patel, but only just. He was approved by 51 votes to 49. That's a remarkably tight margin for a position that historically has seen nominees win overwhelming bipartisan support. Senators Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska were the only Republicans to vote against Patel. Number 3. The IRS started mass layoffs yesterday. About 7,000 employees are expected to lose their jobs at the tax agency. That's 7% of its workforce. About 5,000 of the job cuts are expected to come in the enforcement and collections section. The job cuts are part of an effort steered by billionaire Elon Musk and the U.S. DOJ service. Yesterday, a federal judge declined to pause the mass firings. More than 500,000 federal workers could lose their jobs. And the Post reported yesterday on one notable target for cuts, a small team at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's responsible for regulating the kind of autonomous cars that Musk says represent the future of his company, Tesla. And now it's getting cut nearly in half by Musk's DOJ team. Number 4. 3 empty buses exploded in Israel in a suspected terror attack. The explosions took place in a Tel Aviv suburb last night. Israeli authorities said that more explosives were found at other sites, but that nobody was reported injured. The incident prompted the Israeli military to deploy more forces to step up a weeks-long operation in the occupied West Bank. Israel was also shaken by a revelation yesterday, following Hamas's release of 4 bodies of hostages. Those returned include the bodies of 2 young children from the Bibas family. But Israel said a forensic analysis showed that their mother was not with them, as had been expected. Hamas continues to hold 66 hostages taken by the group during the October 7, 2023 attacks. Of those hostages, about 30 are believed to be alive. The Pacific Northwest is about to be hammered by heavy rain. That's our fifth story. After a week of storms across the country, it's Oregon and Washington's turn. Starting today, thanks to an atmospheric river, the rain will be nearly continuous until at least Tuesday. Higher elevations could see several feet of snow this weekend and early next week. There could be some flooding, and strong winds are expected. So if you live in the Pacific Northwest, watch out for flying trampolines. A new study shows that narcissists feel more social pain. That's number 6. This one may make you feel some rare pity for people with narcissistic personality traits. New research shows that they feel more excluded than their less self-absorbed peers do. There are a couple reasons for this. One is that narcissistic people tend to view social cues as negative, even when they're not meant to be. But also, they are more likely to actually be ostracized because of their strong personality types. And over time, this exclusion can make narcissistic traits even stronger, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. So consider inviting your most narcissistic friend or family member to go bowling this weekend. And at number 7, a German court ruled that Birkenstocks are not art. In case you have never encountered them, Birkenstocks are famously comfy shoes and sandals made from cork. They rose to popularity in the US among young hippies in the 1960s and 70s. Nowadays, they're considered edgy or dorky, depending on your generation and how cool the person wearing them is. One thing they are not, though, is art. At least that's according to a German court that made its ruling yesterday. Birkenstock had wanted to designate its shoes as applied art to guard their copyright against fakers. But the court said the shoes do not represent an artistic achievement. Thankfully for the company, though, that hasn't stopped its fans. In 2023, Birkenstock said its average customer owned 3.6 pairs. That's dedication. That's the show for this week. The associate producer of The Seven is the newly engaged Taylor White. Congratulations, Taylor. The staff writers are me and Jamie Ross. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.